will cite him for contempt. We will cite the speaker for contempt. Watch the space.
But he says there was no business before the business committee. The speaker says the business committee did not meet.
Let's get first
to put business
first and first. There is a ruling made by him. The ruling has been overset. You're forcing me to repeat myself so many times. The Supreme Court is spoken. We want the decision of the Supreme Court to be respected.
The Speaker acknowledged the ruling of the Supreme Court 2 weeks ago. He acknowledged, yes, he admitted to the ruling of the Supreme Court.
It is not a question of acknowledgement. It's a question of implementation of the decision of the Supreme Court.
No MPs, none of them.
You are not listening. Again, you are not listening. It is not for me.
It is not coming to Parliament. None of them have come in.
No. He made
accessing.
You are not listening. You are not listening. I think I'm going to have to say this for the last time because it looks like some of you have become impervious to what is it. Listen to this. The Speaker made a ruling. It was unconstitutional. It was unlawful. By any account, it was illegal. The Supreme Court, contrary to the assertion by he himself and some members of the minority who keep proclaiming from high roofs and high heaven that the Parliament is a master of its own rules and regulations, the Supreme Court is told Babi and Parliament that you are not. There is an institution which is the master of the rules of Parliament, and that this is what the law is, that you cannot make the decision, the proclamation that you made. I call it proclamation because you think it's a king, it's whatever, it's a lord unto himself. But you made a ruling. It is not right. Supreme Court is telling you it is all right. Go back to that.
The Supreme Court did not. Honorable, just briefly, two things.
It will be the interest of Ghanaians for the speaker to respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. Come back to this side rather than continuously adjourning. He is disrespecting the ruling of the Supreme Court.
4 MPs.
You are not listening. You are not listening.
No, when did any of the 4 MPs come in and they were?
Do you know where they were?
Because today the second deputy speaker's aide but the second deputy speaker himself has not been inside.
You may want to take some medication. It has no point shouting when you are ignorant of the matter.
Yes,
what it is this: it's not for the 4 people to simply show up. The Speaker has made a ruling barring them from coming to the Parliament. Supreme Court is reversed it. It is for the Speaker to sit up there and tell the House that his decision has been reversed, and so
How will it be reversed if you are not seated?
You say you are going to cite the Speaker for contempt.
That is not properly conveyed.
I mean, you are going to...
How would the Speaker reverse his decision?
Again, I'm saying that you either want to take leave of your senses or you listen to what I am saying. If you are not prepared to listen to what I'm saying and just listen to your own voices, we're not going to get anywhere. Look at the paucity of cameras. Everyone is listening, but you don't seem to be listening and concentrating on what I'm saying. It is not a question of our presence in there or not. It is for the Speaker. If it is only about 100 people who are coming to the room there, minority and the majority will constitute the composition of the House in its entirety, which never comes in there, provided that we have enough to constitute the House and then start business of the House. We should do it. So even if he had 99, which is 1/3 of what to form the quorum, it was for the Speaker to make the announcement in the House that his ruling has been stayed, has been overset. Accordingly, minority back to where you were, majority back to where you have been. That is the simplest solution that we're talking about.
You say you're going to start briefly.
Yes.
When are you doing this?
Watch the space.
Watch the space. I mean, finally, the Speaker says that the majority has failed to convene a business meeting yesterday so that they can put the business for this emergency report before the House.
I keep saying that first things first. First is for the Speaker to declare in that House the same way as Cathedral, the same way he did. And accordingly, come back and sit where we sit. The business of the House.
Honorable, just briefly, gave that ruling, he didn't direct where each side of the House should sit. It is the NDC who've taken it upon themselves to sit at the majority side. And so, if he says he's acknowledged,
them to do that. He says acknowledge the ruling in his head.
Just briefly, lastly on the petition which came through for the recall, the speaker in reading out the directive stressed strongly that it was the majority, the second majority whip.
Don't push me.
It was a second majority whip who petitioned.
Where's my car?
Who petitioned him for the Parliament to be recalled. That suggests he's acknowledged you as the majority, hasn't he? Right, it does appear the Honourable T Hammond. just that last question. Just that last question about the speaker acknowledging.
Constitutionally, it's about time he respected the ruling of the Supreme Court.
Just that one question about him acknowledging that it was the majority whip who petitioned him. Right, and so the last of the Honourable T Hammond, we got the indication, I mentioned again, that the NPP will be addressing a news conference just shortly. T Hammond making his way, Adansia Sokwa MP making his way out of here, and so quite interesting the morning up until this point, what we've witnessed and what has been a back and forth in the last few minutes between us journalists and the Honourable T Hammond in relation to what has happened. He made his way into Parliament just when